some of them might join little late. So one of my passions since childhood is sharing knowledge, sharing information, connecting as subject matter experts with our community. So as part of that hobby, as part of that interest, I organized over 200 plus webinars and seminars in last 2 years related to all different topics, related to meditation, related to education aspects, related to immigration, taxation, medical, investment strategies, business opportunities, new technologies, certifications in IT, and so many different concepts, both seminars and webinars. Especially when COVID started, when everybody was in a panic mode, when we saw all these fake messages coming up everywhere, I thought this is the right time where we can use our time effectively and learn from subject matter experts, learn something useful for our life rather than worrying about something which is not in our control. So we did over 26 webinars in last 6 weeks, and we have few more webinars in pipeline. Again, like last few weeks, we did nearly 2 to 3 webinars per day, but now it seems COVID will continue for a few more weeks. So I thought like instead of doing too many webinars, it's better we keep it like weekly once or something. So I am working with subject matter experts on options trading. Then another webinar will be by some famous doctors from Houston who will educate on how high school students can get into medicine, what all they need to start preparing. And then one session with forex trading by Rob Boker, one of the famous forex traders in USA. And then Q&A related to kids college admission process. And in case if you are interested for any other webinars, any other topics, anything else which you want to learn from subject matter experts, you can send me an email on kishore.ramaraju@gmail.com, or you can call me on you can message me on 832-867-8808. So just a quick glimpse of what are the 26 webinars we had in the last 6 weeks, so that in case if you are interested, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch some of them. Not all the sessions are recorded, but some of those sessions are recorded. So we did different type of sessions. One of them is mainly related to kids and college education. We did over 10 webinars in last 6 weeks related to kids and college education, like how to get into elite colleges, college financial planning, how to prepare for SAT and ACT with some Harvard student Apurva and UT student Jatin. We had nearly 500 people in most of these sessions, 500 families. Then 529 plans and alternate strategies for college savings. Why AP courses are important. All about college essays. Meet the coding wonder 12-year-old data scientist Siddharth. How could high school students plan a career in medicine? Then we discussed about college admission changes beginning fall 2021 and innovative ways to lower college cost of attendance. So again, we had nearly 1 to 1.5 hour session, but still we had a lot of questions from participants who attended those. So we are going to plan a session in 1 week from now, where on all these 10 topics, wherever you have some questions, you can attend that session. You can ask all your questions. Then we had another 10 more sessions related to investments, business opportunities, and career, like future of affiliate marketing, how to build wealth in recession, ABCs of Bitcoin, passive income from real estate investments, data science with Python, fun with Python for kids, skilled agile certification training, how to make passive income using Fluzz app, Python for kids, a demo by 12-year-old data scientist, and also Bhavik explained on technical analysis, how to use the charts, how to do, again, for crypto, advanced concepts of crypto. We discussed about all those sessions. And also we had 6 more sessions on, again, one more on meditation, take charge of your mind. We did 2 sessions, one in March, one in April. And then I thought it's good time to do one more session. Then impact on immigration and visa extension due to Corona situation. Then we did a session with both Rahul and also Anil from Seattle on CARES Act and SBA disaster loans. We did one session on emergency immigration session on new executive order on travel restrictions. We did one session on mortgage refinance education, because many of our members had questions like, is it good time to do mortgage? Should we do refinancing? All such type of questions. So some of these, right, maybe 60% of these webinars are recorded. And if you are interested to watch any of these recordings, And all these are valuable sessions. We had nearly 400 to 500 participants, families attending all these sessions. If you missed any of those sessions, you can go to YouTube, search for my name, Kishore Ramaraju, and also if you want to uh, see any future sessions, you can subscribe to the channel so you will get a notification. Enough said about our webinars, which already happened and which are going to happen in future. Then it's time to introduce our guest speaker today, Mr. Sujan Shah. Sujan is a mindful practitioner who studies and follows Advaita Vedanta based on non-dualism. Sujan's goal is to train groups on mindfulness and make meaning of meditation simple to follow and practice. Sujan is a great motivational speaker and had been practicing mindfulness for many years. Sujan delivered many talks on the subject for various groups. He did on various radio shows, he did huge shows. And thanks again, Sujan, for taking time to do this for our group members, for our community. Sujan is currently based in Houston, but his native is from Gulbarga. And yeah, again, he's a great motivational speaker. Thanks to Sujan and also to everyone who joined the session today. So it's all yours, Sujan.
Namaste. Can you hear me well?
Yes, Sujan, we can.
Very good. Is there a way, do I need to present my slides or?
Yes, Sujan, you can click on share screen and
can you see my slides?
yes, Sujan, we can.
Very good. All right. Namaste, everyone. And I want to thank Kishore and Kishore Ramaraju and Hardik Doshi to doing this wonderful job they're doing for the community, especially at these difficult times, unprecedented difficult times. And I really appreciate giving me a chance to share what I have learned so far and based on my personal experience. So hope everybody is doing well. And thanks for a very kind and generous introduction, Kishore. So I might look like a guru, but I'm not. I'm just a mindfulness practitioner. And I love studying mindfulness. I read a lot about Vedanta. And the topic today is self-confidence. So I'm going to try to bring a very new perspective to self-confidence. Some of you might already know it, but it's not about doing a bunch of things methodically, doing repeatedly, all those things you already know, discipline and all those kind of things. But the thing we're going to discuss today, a little more based on the mindfulness practice as it comes from Eastern methodology. And some of it would be based on Advaita Vedanta. And I'm going to make it very simple to understand. But before we do that, we need to understand, I have divided into three important major components. One is what is threatening situation, which is imminent in front of us, how it is staring at our face. And then once we know that, we will understand what is the body mechanism, how our body responds to these kind of threats and situations. Once we understand that, we'll go on talk about the elements that goes into self-confidence. We'll also define what is confidence and how it defined having confidence in self. And the third thing we'll be talking about is mindfulness as a basis for improving self-confidence. That's the main part of our today's talk. And lastly, we'll have a summary so you would have a take-home tools so you can practice after the session. And there will be Q&A for last 15 so minutes. So we can talk about it and understand if you have any questions, we can talk about those. So let's start and dig into what we are dealing with right now. So this is me a few years back, many years back before even we had COVID-19. things started going down a few years back when I had a divorce. I had emotional ups and downs, and it was really difficult for me to pull myself up in self-confidence, self-esteem, guilt, and so many different things. I was rushed in my mind with so many different things. And I am sure you might have had this experience. Everybody have ups and downs. But the most current threat we are facing is fear of unknown. A very smallest invisible virus can make us go fast, worried, and this threat is real. There is a threat, existential threat, that brings us stress, panic, and negative emotions. Fear of unknown is the most difficult stress we are facing right now. As we all know, things are going to change. The way business has been done is going to change. The way social interaction is going to be changed. And if you're locked down for so long in one place, they say creativity loves solidarity. I don't know if you heard that before. So when we are by ourselves, it gives rise to creativity. So we love being creative. So when we are locked down, this is a great opportunity to look into these things and improve self-confidence, among many other things. But since today's topic is about self-confidence, we're going to talk about self-confidence. So COVID-19, an existential threat, a novel virus. We don't know if we are immune. There is no drug yet. One has been proven, but it's still under clinical trials. And we have almost 80,000 deaths and millions of infections, and they're going up every day. Some places they're going up, some places are going down. But how our body reacts to this situation is our topic of discussion. So how does body reacts to this? You might have heard that whenever we are in danger or we are in unknown territory, suppose there is a tiger in front of you, and if you run, it's going to follow you and eat you. That's called fight and flight mechanism. So when you have fight and flight mechanism, our sympathetic stimulation is stimulated. We have autonomous nervous system. One is sympathetic, another is parasympathetic. So sympathetic nervous system tells us, should we fight or should we flight? So fight or flight, that gives rise to anxiety, panic, increased vitals, meaning our blood pressure shoots up, our vitals, such as heart rate shoots up or breathing shoots up. And because of that, our steroids are increased. They're secreted a lot in our blood that causes a lot of inflammation in our body. And because of that, our immunity goes down. Our focus is not clear. We're not able to focus on anything. We're not able to think logically. And our self-esteem is kind of imbalanced. And you're not sure what we're doing, which is very normal to this kind of threatening situation. And by the way, the things that I'm presenting here, they do not substitute any medical diagnosis or treatment, and they do not represent any organization. Just so you know, you should always consult your physicians for your clinical things. So in cyberspace, when you send one negative icon of fear or afraid, or you're kind of in worry, that thing fast, negative emotions way faster than the virus itself, and which is the fact. Even if there is no virus in population, you can send one small text of you're being scared, the negative emotions are already spread. So that's how we respond with our mind and body. I read a really nice book by Dr. Viktor Frankl. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. An Austrian psychiatrist who was stuck in Holocaust for last 2 to 3 years. They freed everyone in 1945-46. But as a psychiatrist, he was the survival, but he saw all that time. But his observation was absolutely necessary, and though it is extreme, we can somewhat relate to his quote. And he says, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I don't know if you agree, but I think to an extent, we are going through that situation right now. So now let's get into the elements of self-confidence. Since we're talking about self-confidence, things that those are often missed are the one listed here. And there's so many people out there, they're saying, well, you have to do a disciplinary thing. You have to wake up at so much time, and then you have to do little things every day for years and blah, blah, blah. I couldn't agree more. Not resisting, very good. But just to give some kind of spiritual basis to this, I came up with this list. I asked myself, what did I do when I went through these doubts in my mind? I had some esteem imbalance, and then what did I do to pull it back and get up and get going? So the first thing came to my mind was journey towards self. And we often miss that when we are out in the people, self-confidence is perceived notion by somebody else. When we exude confidence, correct? Somebody would say or appreciate and will appreciate and make sure that they're aware of your self-confidence. So unless it comes from inside out, it will not be genuine self-confidence. So I would say confidence in self. In order to get it, it flows from inside out. This direction of flow of confidence needs to be absolutely clear in our mind. And it wasn't for me. And now I'm getting to the point that I understand, and hence I'm sharing with you guys that when it comes from inside out, there are a lot of benefits to it, and we're going to discuss more in the following slides. Lack of clarity. When there is no clarity in our thoughts, there will not be clarity in our actions, in our goals. And I know this sounds cliche, but these are all related things, those goes into building the self-confidence, elements of building the self-confidence. Imbalanced introspection. When we do not have clear introspection, unbiased, uninclined, we love ourselves. And some people are very hard on themselves. Some people are very easy on them. So we have to find the middle background to understand where we stand. When you see ourselves clearly with no bias, then we would be able to know that introspection is clear and honest. Reinforcing the sense of purpose. One more important ingredient. If we don't know our purpose, we'll be lost and going in loops and loops and loops and coming to the same place again and again. And the last one is specific to this pandemic situation. There are going to be a lot of changes in the way the business has been done. I've seen so many WhatsApp and so many videos going viral. A guy coming up and telling us what are the most important businesses going to be there and what businesses will be wiped out. So this is not that discussion, but I'm just putting it out there. The post-COVID-19 is going to look totally different than pre-COVID. And it all comes down to what we did during this lockdown and how effectively we use this time to improve our skill sets. And self-confidence is one of them. Now, confidence in self. So I know it's been said, my mom used to say always that confidence does not come from outside. It comes from within. And I kept asking, why is it so? But then I realized in my life that when the confidence flows from inside out, there is a less pressure on your shoulder. You're not comparing yourself with anybody else, but you're comparing yourself, your older version, to your newer version. The other big point is seeking comfort in old ways. Things that have worked for you pre-COVID may not work for you post-COVID or even during COVID. Just like this, we're having so many online meetings. You have to go on changing your ways and not associate your pain with those pathways. So when we associate our goals with the pain, we find ourselves in a difficult situation, and that gets into trouble for having self-confidence. Avoiding unconditioning. This is a deeper one. So conditioning is, since childhood, we have been told to do things in a certain way. But in order to get out of our own conditioning and go out in community, expose ourselves, especially if you are seeking something which had never been done before, unconditioning is inevitable. And if you seek unconditioning, you will feel a little vulnerable, but then you will get to such an amazing level of self-confidence that you have never observed before. Easily swayed by others' opinions. And the deeper meaning of this is when we're not self-introspecting enough, when we're not close to our real self enough, we're easily influenced with others' opinion. We will change our goals, our everything for longer than a lot of time. So let's explore this. Confidence flows from inside out. What do I mean? And you will understand if we change the direction. Suppose the confidence is coming from outside in, what we suffer from. So that might be able to help you with what happens when we compare ourselves with others. So change in direction causes fear of missing out. You see somebody's been promoted. You see somebody's working hard and have been picked up to excel their presentation. Besides every other unethical reasons, if somebody has been picked for ethical reasons, for competitive reasons, there is a fear of missing out. This is a classical sign among us when we are in a team working in a corporate. We feel like that, man, I had not been given enough chance. I have gone through it, and let me tell you what, this is a classical sign of disalignment or confusion of the direction of self-confidence or self-introspection. That's where everything lies. And that limits the scope and reach. When we are comparing ourselves with external world, or when the confidence is coming from outside in, we're saying my world is very small because you're comparing to one specific person. But when you compare yourself with that one ultimate reality that's within you, the possibilities are infinite. The real existence, which is deep in you, you cannot compare that with anything. And if when you exude that confidence or self-assurance or awareness, you're going above and beyond. You have no time to compare yourself, which itself, in itself, is a self-confidence. That's the same exact question at the end. Who are you competing? Before you go to sleep tonight, ask yourself this question. Who are you really competing with? An answer you will find very often. Ask yourself this question. Sooner or later, you'll find out you're competing with your older version. Next big point is lack of clarity. If you have a clarity, your thought can go faster than the speed of sound and light. It had been said for several people. The clarity is must. And if you do not have it, you will go through so many loops of not having complete clarity. And this is one of the most important elements of building self-confidence. And two important reasons I give in causes of confusing clarity of thoughts is because we always attach ourselves with knowing who we are. And the two things comes up based on our Eastern wisdom training. One is the senses that our body is giving us in the mind. And now this is a deeper part of discussion that, listen, please, I hope you listen carefully. When your perception is given by senses, gives some picture to your mind based on your past memory, it creates a picture in front of you. And that's when we start identifying ourselves with that picture. And when we are not with our true self, the one I mentioned before, where the confidence flows from, we get into trouble because we are identifying ourselves with not true self. We are becoming victim to our emotions and our senses. You can always ask me a question later when we open up for questions, or you can email me later. I know this is deeper, but I can explain you very well later. Reinforcing the clarity. Do not associate with new beginnings with those of the past experiences. That lies in self-introspection as well. Because we always think about new ways and we're hesitant to move ahead. There's the first go problem. We're not having this, like constipation. We are always worried about it. Should we go through? Would it go through or not? Those sort of things. We start asking ourselves clear questions independent of our past memories and experiences and start new. Of course, we learn from it, but we do not reinforce them when planning new. Getting out of comfort zone. Almost every victory, gig economy has always come out of getting out of comfort zone. Somebody has said, you should at least feel once vulnerable as if you're jumping out of aeroplane once in a day. I think it is Sanjay Gupta from CNN, the chief medical officer, Dr. Sanjay Gupta from CNN. Make sure you feel at least once in a day that as if you're jumping out of airplane. The vulnerability gives rise to better creativity and enthusiasm and courage to move forward with new initiatives. I found this very nice, and it says by Annie, I don't know how to say her last name, but seeking clarity is seeking connection with the universe. To connect is to understand, and to be clear is to be enlightened. I know there are big words at the end of these sentences, but we'll go through it. But if you like this saying, I'll live by this saying. This is amazing expression. You might want to write it down. That's why clarity is important. Let's talk about introspection. What is introspection? Some people go above and beyond, killing themselves, judging them very badly, talking negative thoughts. I was one of them. But then I learned a way to stop the downward spiral when you start those negative thoughts, and that's detrimental, detrimental for self-confidence. We have to have a positive talk to our mind and our body that's going to decide our future actions. Those are also created by distractions by mind and body, just like I said a couple slides ago. Senses and the constant chattering of mind. When you do not associate yourself with these two and go above and beyond without fighting these two, you find a clear path of flowing your confidence from inside out. Self-positive talk. If you have made it so far, you will make it furthermore. Keep telling yourself that, and it will make your day. recognizing true north. So now there is a big study and there are a lot of books on true north. If you want to really study, my favorite author is Bill George. Bill George is an ex-CEO of Medtronic, the Medtronic company, which is making ventilators right now where people need it. But if you want to read his book, True North, read it. In that he says, our true north comes from our upbringing, our social standing, what we have learned, and who we interact with. That's how you know your global positioning of your mind, your goals, so to speak. We need this GPS check where you stand every day to reach that goal. And when you know where you stand every day, you're making your element of self-confidence absolutely strong, one day at a time. Seeing with a clear mind, just like I said in a few slides, seeing with a clear mind is not associating our past or pains or suffering to the new beginnings. Really tough, but it can be achieved. And I'm going to give you a couple tools at the end how you can achieve it, but just go along with me for now. Sense of purpose. Sense of purpose depends on passion, values, and rooted in upbringing, just like I said with the true north. And true north and sense of purpose, they combine the elements together. Again, the clarity is important for your sense of purpose. The confidence inside out, again. So these all overlap with each other. There is no clear indication under one, but having sense of purpose will define your path forward. And the true north decides the sense of purpose as well. Now let's talk about the important stuff. Now we all know, you sort of got the gist of what this speaker is trying to tell. I hope you did. All I chatted about was inside out, mindfulness, or not attaching ourselves with the mind and body. What does this really mean? Or, well, I understood, how do I achieve it? Here we go. So this is where it comes to the Eastern wisdom methodologies, spirituality. Some define spirituality as religion. I define spirituality as my way of living life based on mindfulness. Here it comes, the word you might have seen before, pranayama, or watching your breathing. Guys, as simple as that. When you start watching your breathing, few minutes a day, first thing happening is breathing takes over mind and body. If you do it for long enough, body takes over breathing and mind. And if you still persisted and you said, wow, I still like it, the mind takes over breathing and mind. With this, it helps to stimulate parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system stimulates happy hormones, ananda mind. Those are oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. When there is a homeostasis, an equilibrium required physiologically for this body to exist with equanimity, with happiness, these hormones are required, and for that parasympathetic nervous system needs to be stimulated. How you stimulate that? By meditation, mindfulness, meditating and watching your breathing at least 5 minutes a day. Why we're talking about under self-confidence, you'll know in a minute. Well, when we are meditating, there's so many challenges we come across. There's so many thoughts. You see all these thoughts coming at you. We try to fight them. There's so many senses there giving us perception, which may not be true. You're confused. Your self-esteem is low. You've gone through so many ups and downs, and now the clarity is not there. That's when you observe these thoughts. Now we're talking about how not to link ourselves or identify ourselves with mind and body. or distraction created by mind and body. So you would have a clear path of self-confidence, going back to the source of reality and letting that confidence ooze inside out. So instead of fighting your thoughts in the body or the sensations created by body, just observe, wait until they die down with their energy so you can excel in having your better introspection, clarity of thoughts, true north, and build this elements of self-confidence. It says the same thing. What happens when you have, when we identify ourselves with mind and body? We have this situation where when we are distracted with these, we are getting busy with the daily perceptions of mind and body, but we're not able to go beyond these two. Always imagine mind and body is right in front of you. The one which plays in the background is your higher reality, your real self, or your higher consciousness. And our goal is to go above beyond the mind and the body so you can have a clear access to the self-confidence, the clarity, the sense of purpose. Now comes the way deeper subject, which is called non-dualism. In all the talk I had so far was mostly based on my study about non-dualism. Non-dualism is the one which says there is only one existence. That means mind and body and the higher consciousness comes from same background. Even though mind and body part of it, the consciousness has to differentiate these two and not identifying ourselves. There lies the wisdom. And throughout our childhood, when we went through so many transformations, one thing never changed. And that is our higher consciousness. We go through so many transformations. Our mind changes, our experience changes, our feeling changes. But one thing that never changes, which is at the background, watching all these things in our life. Our body goes through changes, emotions, mind, experience, but the consciousness remains the same. And we need to be closer to the consciousness to have a clarity of thoughts, not to compare with others, not to have fear of missing out, and know your purpose. And that's how we can achieve the state of non-dualism. It's nothing but a practice of meditation, giving you a sense that you're not your mind and you're not your body. So with all these big words in chatty speech, I hope you get some take-home message from this session. The first one is the absolute understanding how confidence flows. It flows from inside out. Know all the elements in self-confidence, what goes into it, how you develop it, and how you survive with it. The next one and the big one is not to identify with the distractions created by mind and body. Trying to work out of your comfort zone that you had in the past, so you're not relating your pain path to new initiatives. And to achieve all this, for me, it had been very helpful to practice meditation, pranayama, watching your breathing, which has indirect control over your blood pressure, heart rate, and respiration, which stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, giving rise to happy and ananda hormones. And try to understand oneness, non-dualism. If you're really interested in this, This is everything is coming from. You can Google it, and there is a lot of literature out there. It's a tough subject, but what we talked about for self-confidence is all coming from non-dualism. So I know we covered, and this might be unconventional way of approaching self-confidence, but with everyone saying a lot of things in this world about improving your self-confidence, when I dive deeper, this is the source I came up with. The fear of missing out, comparing ourselves to others, in comparing ourselves with the older version. So many people say it. I started asking, what is it? Where this is coming from? And finally, I found the source. So with that, I think I spent good 35, 40 minutes. I open up for questions. Thank you. Namaste.
Sujanji, there is one question on, like, one of the member gave a couple of interviews. He used to get offer within 3 interviews earlier, but this time he gave 5 interviews. Actually, he did pretty well, but did not get any offers so far. Is something he needs to worry about?
So let me see the question again. So he got, can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, he attended multiple interviews.
Okay.
He generally used to get offer within 3 interviews earlier.
Okay.
This time he gave 5 interviews, but still he did not get anything.
Oh, interview for job.
Yep.
That's a very question. I don't know where you stand with all the COVID situation, and if you are let go, it's a very hard situation. And one of the things which has helped me a lot, I'm sure you might have been told this before, networking is also very important. And most of my jobs I found were based on networking. I know it's not a clear shot, but if you can network with important people where there is a meaning, who can connect you with people who are in a hiring situation, you can get a very good lead. And you don't need to worry about not getting into anything, even if you were not selected for last 3 interviews. That's what your question is. I would not worry. Keep working on it. I had one of my friend who did not even have immigration status. I mean, he was on a student visa. He was trying to get one on a H-1B visa. He tried and tried and tried. And at the last minute, several people denied his job, his interview, just like you had. But one person who helped him, and now he's working in a very higher position in the United States. So do not give up. Don't worry about how many people denied you. You just need one person to accept, one employer, not 5 or 6. So keep working on it without worrying what happened. Keep going on. You're on the right path. Any other question? That was a very good question.
My name is Jignasa. Can you define in simple term, one sentence, what is non-dualism?
Hey Jignasa, how are you, man? So non-dualism, when Shankara's father died, he was born in South India. He had a painful feelings and emotions, right? So he wanted to know, how can I get rid of these emotions and feelings? So he went to Himalayas for meditation. That's when he realized that human beings are given with a consciousness, which is soul, and we have mind and body. So mind and body gives you all this maya, right? We bond ourselves into all these attachments. but the consciousness is pure. So these two and consciousness, they always go together. They're one. They cannot be separated. It's not like a dark and bright, right and wrong. So we are stuck with that. That called non-dualism. So when you understand that mind and body is part of you, you will not try to fight your thoughts, your negative thoughts, or your bodily sensations. You will accept them as your own and still try to go ahead with whatever you want to achieve in your life. I hope that makes sense.
For a beginner, how to overcome distraction and focus when trying to start meditation?
Oh, that's a very good question. So 3 years back, I started meditation, right? And I still tell some people and they say, man, what is meditation? What the hell we are supposed to do? They all ask me this question. So that's exactly what I try to explain in my slides. So when you close your eyes, right, they tell you everything and straight your back and everything. The moment you close your eyes, you start getting all this distracted and this chattering of mind, and your body sensations will start messing with you. That's when your thoughts should tell yourself that that's not who you are. You do not identify yourself with those distractions, the chattering of mind. You tell them that this is not me. This is not being emotionally unattached. No, that's not what it is. When you say, this is exactly the basis of non-dualism. When you say, yes, this is a part of me, this is going to give me hard time, but the way to get around this chattering of mind is to only observe them. There is no such thing that you can control mind. There is no such thing that you can get rid of it. It's way bigger than us. It's been evolved for millions of years, our body and our mind. When you understand this, you will be only left with accepting what your mind is saying and just keep quiet. You say, just keep saying whatever you want to say. I'm going to stay here. That's called mindful awareness. When you stand in front of ocean, can you say, I can completely engulf this ocean? No. When you see the ocean, you feel humble. You just observe. Mind is the same way. Even it has a lot of waves of distraction, you say it is part of me. It is nothing else. But even if it is part of me, I am not going to identify. I'm not going to say this is me. So that real self is your consciousness. So consciousness is at the background. Your mind and body is in front. Your consciousness is always watching your mind and body. You tell your consciousness that you are not your mind and you're not your body. Things will become easy. Do it. Simply tell yourself, it's okay. Don't fight your thoughts. Do not say, oh, I want to get rid of thoughts. No, you will never. You always say, it's okay. Let it chatter for a long time. I'm just going to observe and let it go. Better yet, personify your thoughts. Oh, there goes the David again, or there goes the Bob again, or say whichever name you want to say. Then you will know that that's not you. Then you will be able to accept it. Oh man, start it again. You will know to let it go, observe, and say that's not you. So personify your thoughts. I hope this helps. Any other questions?
How do we get a 16-year to meditate or understand this easily?
Kids, we're talking about kids. They are already in a beautiful state of mind. They need not do anything. They are so purely close to their consciousness. All we can ask them to do is just sit down for 5 minutes and do whatever they want to do. Kids are so clear in their mind. They are so focused. They are so enthusiastic. They are not conditioned like we are. We are conditioned when we with so many regulations, rules, and this and that, books that we read, the things that we listen, they are still pure. Best way to get out of their way, put a nice music and say, let's meditate. You start as a parent first, either as a mother or dad or all of them. If you start meditating, they will sit down in front of you and they will follow your path. They will love it. And this is a really great age to start, because this is where their hormones are upside down. They have a peer pressure. They have self-identity thing going on. They're trying to work hard. They're trying to make into this world. When you introduce themselves this mindfulness and meditation, you start first. Ask them to sit down with you. Just ask them to watch their breathing and let go. Be compassionate. Be loving with themselves and with others. That's a very important thing. They have to be told that be kind, be forgiving, not just to others, to themselves. It's a beautiful beginning for the kids. I have a 7-year-old daughter. Every time I tell her, be kind to yourself and others. Be compassionate with yourself and others. So don't forget to tell. You have to be forgiving, compassionate to yourself and to others. So when they get into some complicated things later in their life, they will remember that. Any other question? Having fun. I think there are a lot of good questions.
Yep. Let me unmute everyone. So in case if someone want to ask some questions, I'll unmute and mute everyone. So you can unmute yourself.
Sure.
So yeah, now everyone can unmute yourself and you can ask any questions if you have.
I just want to say thank you for sharing. I think this is very important for next generation as they're being raised here in the United States. So thank you for taking the time and opening up one petal or two or three of the lotus flower. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Any other questions? Yeah, if not, thanks again, Sujanji, and also Hardik for introducing Sujan. So thanks everyone for joining. And again, do you want to conclude with a message, Sujanji? Final words?
Absolutely. So if you have any questions about all this, I know this is a complex matter. This is not an intellectual game. This is a very much practical experience based on my personal life and some readings. So if you want to understand, I do a one-on-one session as well and group sessions. And if you feel this would be beneficial for you or anybody else, just let me know. And the other thing is, mindfulness is very important. And mindfulness is very vague term, but when you put it with the meditation, it will help you to attain the clarity, the purpose, the sense of purpose, the sense of belonging, not comparing with others, but going deep inside in place in yourself where you can shine And you don't have to worry about comparing with anybody. I have compared myself in past. And this path has helped me a lot to just be yourself. Self-confidence is who you are. You don't have to become something else. No, that's the wrong notion. We start running behind something of some delusion. Oh, that's going to give me self-confidence. No, it's actually an inward journey. It's about knowing who you really are and then operating inside out. I hope you get a chance to think about this.
Sujan, I have one more question before we adjourn. Can this help somebody who's already depressed? So if somebody's depressed, for example, do you consult with, can you consult with them too?
Well, technically, I cannot, because this is not, as long as they have some medical treatment or psychologist consulting them, it can go with complementary therapy.
Right, they already have that, but they don't have a goal. They don't know which way to go. They're not focused. Yeah.
Yes. I just cannot say that I'm either a psychologist or a counselor or a clinician. I'm based on our Indian way of mindfulness and meditation. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Sujan, Krishna here from Dallas.
Hey Krishna, how are you?
Pretty good. My question is, how do I separate myself from all the distractions I see from outward?
So first you have to understand. So there is a process, right? It starts from step 1, step 2, step 3. And let me explain you that step that might help to intercept at its early stages, so you do not let it go to higher stages and make it complicated story. So when there is a perception, there is a contact with outer world. You see beautiful home in front of you, you start feeling, oh man. So the senses start telling you, the eyes, the feel and everything starts telling you that I might want this, right? So now that turns into emotions. So everything starts outside, but it's only converted into information via senses. So when all these senses, perception, and our mind creates a picture in front of us, that's when the thought starts coming and getting to those emotions or those senses and the picture created by them. When we do not let those thoughts attach to our emotions, right? There is an intercept between these two connections. When we intercept, let these emotions die, because emotions comes with certain energy. They can only run for so long and they die down. So they come and they go. So if you practice awareness, if your awareness is full with the help of mindfulness meditation, enhancing your senses and your mind, you will learn not to attach thoughts to all these emotions coming to you, either good emotions, bad emotions, negative emotions. Those are trying to distract you. So in a practical way, when you see something beautiful, emotion starts telling you, this is mine, this is mine. Thought starts coming at those and starts holding. Before thoughts comes to hold those emotions and makes yours, the awareness you have earned with mindfulness should stop these thoughts to catch these emotions, make it further complicated. Easy enough? You still there, Krishna?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
Good. So I can explain you later as well. It's a little difficult to understand, but when you understand the steps of emotions are fast, they come quickly, they go quickly. but we are the one who say, oh, those are mine, those are mine. That's when becomes the story complicated. And then it starts attaching to ourselves. And then we get the same results every year. That's why we have to enhance our awareness of senses so they intercept connecting thoughts with emotions, so that emotions will leave us alone.
One last question, Sujanji. After this, maybe we'll stop. What are the synergies and differences between concepts of mindfulness, awareness, and meditation?
The synergies.
Yeah, synergies and differences between how they are related and how they are different. Mindfulness, awareness, and meditation.
Okay. So the mindfulness is a larger picture, right? Mindfulness is a very vague term about how you live your life, how you are living today, living in the moment, detaching yourself from all the attachments, then talking with somebody nicely. So it's very vague umbrella. It's a big umbrella. But when it comes to meditation, meditation is a specific tool to attain specific goal, such as identifying that you are not your mind and you are not your body. So that is the biggest difference. But I would not, sometimes they are also used synonymously. Some people think that mindfulness is meditation. It doesn't matter. The synergy is, the relationship is just the mindfulness is a way bigger term, and it has a lot of different methodologies. And it can be attained with, psychotherapy, counseling, mentors, and one of it is meditation. So there are so many methodologies to attain mindfulness. You talk to your friends, somebody giving you pep talk. Your parents are talking to you about, I think you would be better off doing this. So there are a lot of things in mindfulness, but meditation is a specific way of attaining mindfulness. I hope that makes sense. Any other questions?
Yeah, Sujanji. I think we are good.
Okay.
So all the questions are answered. So thanks once again for your time.
Thank you so much. And I have my phone number and email. If you need any further help or you want to talk to me or discuss anything that you want to achieve in your life or improve your self-confidence or mindfulness or meditation, I would be available to speak through these difficult times. So I hope everybody stays safe and sound and be healthy. Thank you again for this opportunity, Hardik and Kishore.
Thanks, Susan. It was really great, this Amita.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.